So you do two workshops with the scenes,
Yeah,
or you're working with monologues too?
Two different kind of
Scene work.
scenes. I haven't done. It's funny. I haven't really done monologue workshops, but I'm going to do it now online because it's
Great.
easier to do. Yeah, so I'm setting up one that's going to start in a couple weeks from now. Something like April 29th or something, starting to do a monologue workshop. The stuff that I am going to teach in the monologue workshop, is the same of how I attack a scene. It's the same. Yeah, there's certain things to learn, about. A lot of casting directors and people teach how to audition, There's that part of it, but I'm teaching how to work on the monologue. I might tell you some things of how when you actually perform it, but it's not about that so much as is it about how to work on text, and I find the same things I do with a scene is what to do with a monologue. There's something different that I do though that comes from what I learned from Zoe Caldwell, and this also comes from Stella Adler, who was Meisner's best friend. They were much bigger on punctuation than a lot of Meisner teachers are, because a lot of Meisner, what happened was, and I don't know how this happened, this could be, because I'm interested in talking about that thing you said about, is there a difference between European American, teaching of it? Somewhere, I'll tell you this, Judy, what happened somewhere down the line, because I meet actors all the time that when they start first working on text, they don't at all follow any punctuation. Because the Meisner technique taught them to be free, right? To be 100% free. So you don't know how it's going to come. You don't know how you're going to say the line. And that's what Meisner's after. It has to be impulsive, right? But then they're doing Tennessee Williams, and they're not doing what Tennessee Williams wrote. And it's a big problem. I discovered that it's both. You have to, because I'm a director and I direct Tennessee Williams and different things, and I work hugely from punctuation. The script gives you all the clues, and the punctuation gives you all these clues. And so you have to, a period, a full stop, a statement, you have to do it as a statement. You cannot make it iffy and up and maybe or a question. And I work with many actors, even professional actors, and they change the punctuation. And then they have to learn from me. No. So what I learned was, so what I'm saying is punctuation's a huge thing that I throw into the mix, into when we start working on text. I use the things that Meisner taught about how to craft things, and how to craft super objective actions, beats, actions, intentions. But I also use punctuation. The text gives you all the clues, but many actors don't use the punctuation. And because what I found is you can learn, Judy, I can learn the punctuation technically, just like we learn the words. Meisner said, learn the words technically by rote. So that's different than acting. It has nothing to do with your acting. That's just technical. So, right. So learn, and I say you learn that with punctuation is technical. So I will say the line as a period, or I will say it as a question, or I will say it as a dash, that it's an interruption. But how do I say it? There's still 500 different ways to say it, but it will be a question because that's how it's written. I'll learn it technically that it's a question, but I don't know how I'm going to ask that question, but I will say it as a question. And so I'm really big on text, on using punctuation with the text.
Do you have any scheme of work with the text?
Any what?
Any in program of work with the text?
Like a system, you mean?
Yes.
Like an order?
Yes.
Hmm. Interesting question. Yes, I mean, there's an order that I teach them about. I teach them about punctuation, but then I also teach them about what I teach them about is about super objectives, how to find that script analysis, how to find the super objective, how to find the objective, how to find the actions. It sounds like, if you're going to go through a scene, a monologue or scene, let's say a scene right now, you're going to go through a scene, you're going to work on a scene, and you're going to look at it and you're going to find, what are my actions? Acting is doing. It's always doing, doing, doing. What am I doing? It's not, again, not about thinking. Remember everything we've learned up to now? It's not about thinking. What happens to a lot of actors is, remember I said most acting classes is working on scenes. They try to find out intellectually what they're doing in each moment of a scene. And they try to act that. And you can't. It's such a strange thing. You have to know how all those things that we learned in Meisner, why I think it's the best foundation I've ever found. You have to learn all these things about letting go and how to craft and be specific and all that. It's with text, it's the same thing where you have to take the clues from the text and the punctuation, what the text is giving you, and find things out about your character. So you can even craft, what am I doing here? I'm trying to get this person to love me. I'm trying to, I want them to leave town. I want them to understand the equation. I want, what I mean? I can find things that I need, that I want, my action that I'm doing. It doesn't mean, all it does is it gives you a path. You understand, what you're doing, but you don't know how you're doing that. It's a combination of both. And that's why it's advanced work. It really takes, you'd have to know to let go and trust instincts, to know that, okay, I want Judy to go with me, but I can't act how I think that's going to be. I just have to know it and trust it, and now let my instincts take over, knowing I want her to come with me. And that leaves it open where I don't know what's going to happen. But see, actors get into so much trouble. Most acting classes, and what I find from students come to me from, like I said, study different things. But one of the biggest problems they have when they come from Chubbuck or different things, they're coming from different techniques, is they decide an objective and they hold on to that objective for dear life. And Meisner said, you can't. You must know it and you must let it go. Know it, but you don't know. You can't anticipate what's going to happen. Yeah. So so I have a process that I work with the text, and it's to learn about how to discover actions and objectives of the scene and super objectives, how to use punctuation, define these things, how to make decisions. And then we're going to do, in the class, you're going to find out, do you have an emotional prep? Where are you coming from? What's the relationship? Yeah, because you've learned it, not intellectually. That, actors, they think it's brother and sister, so they act like what they think a brother and sister should be. No, you've learned you can't do that. You have to let go, but you know how to craft it specifically, a relationship. So we just go through the list. What do you have? An activity? A lot of scenes have activities built in them. Someone's doing something. Or I even when I worked with directors, or like Meisner directed us in some of the thing, he gave us an activity to do that wasn't even in the scene. It's like, wow, why I could be polishing my shoes. You know what I mean? He gave me polishing my shoes in this. It made the whole scene different and alive because I was busy polishing my shoes. And then, you know what I mean? And it worked for the scene, and it's amazing. And obviously, and one of the biggest things I find for monologues and scenes is this emotional prep thing. How, you know, it's what brings a depth to the work, to your acting, and a life to the acting that otherwise wouldn't be there. Some scenes you don't need it. You don't need emotional prep every time. Meisner said, "Hey, you tell an actor, hey, here's the scene. You're being left. Someone's leaving you. You go, okay, here we go. Someone's leaving me." You know. But there's many scenes that can't be that can't be done without emotional prep. You know, it can't. It's going to help you come into the scene. And again, what we learn from it is, and many actors make the big mistake of holding on. They think it's about emotion, holding on to emotion, because they think that, you know, because we see actors being emotional. Meryl Streep gets emotional, but it's not about emotion. The emotion comes from really doing, and it'll change all over. Bad actors, you can tell, inexperienced and bad actors, they stay the same emotion. That's the big, they think the scene, they're supposed to be mad, so they stay mad. That is not what we do in life. We're at a funeral, we're sad, and we make a joke and we laugh.
Sure, it's changing all the time.
All the time, every
fluctuation constantly.
Yeah.
But sometimes actor is in front of the camera and he don't have a partner and people in this. And what there? What then?
I talk about it a lot. It's one of the two biggest questions I get all the time is that, like, if you're alone, and two, what if I'm doing a monologue, even on, like, I'm on stage or something, or in front of the camera, I'm doing a monologue, and I'm not working off a partner, because, you know, they hear from me, Steven, you keep saying working off of and listening and doing and all this. And they say, what about monologues? You know, and it's still.
Yes, but if you have a camera, sometimes you don't have a partner.
That's right. Sometimes you do. Good actors will. I have a great story of that 80th anniversary I did of the Playhouse, you know, that I put together. We were honoring that Richard Pinter, and we were honoring Eli Wallach, the great actor Eli Wallach. He was in the many films. He's in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly with Clint Eastwood. He's the ugly. That's Eli Wallach. He's in many films. He passed away too several years ago. He, what was I going to say? I was mentioning him. I just forgot what I was going to say. What were we talking about?
We were talking about not having a partner and doing.
Okay. Thank you. The 80th anniversary. Thank
Only
you. The 80th anniversary, we were honoring Eli Wallach. He did a film called The Holiday. It's a great, watch this film, The Holiday. It's with Kate Winslet. It's about like three couples, three different, you know, and three different stories kind of tied in together. And one of the stories is about a woman in her 30s, whatever, 40, with her relationship with a grandpa guy, you know, an older guy. And that's Eli Wallach and Kate Winslet. And we had called Kate Winslet up. We left a message with her saying, would you come and honor him at this gala that I was doing? Will you present to him? You know, she's busy as all. It's Kate Winslet. You know, we're expecting a no. Thank you for asking me, but no. We get a call back, and it's Kate Winslet saying, yes, name the date. I will be there. Why? She said, that man is one of the most amazing actors in the world that I've ever worked with. And here he is, 87 years old, doing the scenes, and they're filming her parts, you know, the camera, like you're saying, Gosha, they're filming her parts, just the camera on her. And he could have been, like a lot of actors, he could be in his dressing room or sleeping or something, right? He at 87 years old was there for hours, for 3 hours, being there on the other side of the camera just so she could see him and see his face. Not even having lines back, just that he would stand there for her.
Impressive.
She said that doesn't happen with people in the movie industry and stuff and everything, Hollywood. And she said, my God, the guy's amazing. He helped me be better. Isn't that something? True story. And again, I think that comes from these actors as people that learn things like from Meisner and stuff about what the real work is about, you know? But